So, this is what I see every time people come onto the green to practice putting before they go out. I've picked one at 20 feet, I've picked one at 30 feet, and got one just up this hill now at 10 feet. And we'll go and collect them. So, what we're going to talk about today, guys, is talk about how to practice, how to set up, coming onto the green and doing some beneficial practice before you go out. Good afternoon, guys, welcome back to the channel. Chris Dennis here, putting specialist and short game performance coach. So as you just saw there, how many times I see people come up to practice before the round, chuck 3 balls down and just have a pat around, basically try and get a feel for the pace, try and get a feel for something, but it's not so productive. What I'm going to go through here today is when you get back to the golf course, when you've got time to do a little bit of putting, you can set up a little station here that's help you work on your stroke, help you work on your start line, and then get hitting some putts that are the putts that we want to start to hole a little bit more, start to be a little bit more consistent on. So as you saw there, I've just hit some putts through this start gate, so I've been working on my stroke. I've got the 2 tees either side of the putter and then a start gate a foot in front of the ball. So I'm now going to move on to hitting some random putts. So they're all different. I've got 6 putts at 8 feet. And what I want you to do is when you are putting, take your time to line it up, read it, and hit that putt. Give yourself some feedback, because how many times I see people just hit putts, miss and move on, there's no feedback. So this might take you 15 minutes, but that 15 minutes is better than just hitting it to every single corner of the putting green and then trying to go out and play golf. You can do some pace stuff after, but what we'd start with is this. You don't need to put the tees in, you could just put a ball down at 8 feet, and we're going to talk about expectations. So I'm going to go through here now, I'm going to hit these 6 putts, I'm going to see how many I hole, and then we're going to discuss how many I should be holing and how many you should be holing. So I'm going to come in here now, dress the ball as I would if I was on the green, read this putt. So I've got this slightly right to left, I'm going to give it a 1. So just outside the right edge. Again, take my time, line that ball up, go through my normal routine, and then come in and hit that putt. So every single time here we're practicing our routine, giving ourselves feedback. So good roll there, good pace, a foot pass, but it's broke more than I thought, so my read was slightly out. Again, I'm not then going to hit the same putt again, because all that's doing is I'm just going to make adjustments, I'm just going to make compensations, and it's not productive for what we want to do. So I've got that pretty straight. So again here, if you watch the first video I did on the channel, I'm lining that ball up, making sure it's pointing at my target at the hole. So this should be lined up for the centre. So that's good now. So in I come. So good roll, good speed, first one. So 1 out of 2. Right guys, I want you to comment below how many would you expect to hole from 8 feet. It is something I ask, and this is something I do with most lessons who come first. It's a little bit of a test and see what your expectations are. So I've got this slightly left to right, so on the left edge. So, great roll, great pace, never moved, stayed exactly where I've aimed it. So I'm giving myself feedback on every putt by lining that up. I can see if my technique, if the putter face is square when I come into the ball, and then I can really decide what I've done and why I've missed. Did it not start on line? Was the roll poor, or was it the read? So I'm going to give that pretty straight, not much in that, up the hill. Okay, so very firm, so it was good read, it rolled well, but because I've hit it too hard, it's lipped out there. So far, 1 out of 4. So set up on the left edge here, just need good pace. So that's it, so I've completed the 6 tees now. I made 3 out of 6. So this is something I get everybody to do who comes for a lesson most times. So I've got a couple of drills we start with for expectation. So normally I have 8, and I ask them, out of 8 putts from 8 feet, how many are you expecting to hole? A lot of the times they go, you know, 6 out of 8 or all of them ideally. But what they're doing at the moment is probably holding 1, some say 0, some are honest say 0, some say 1, some say 2. So tour average from this distance, you know, bang in the middle of tour average, people keeping the cards, is 50%. So I want you to do this test, come on here, have a putt, line the ball up, take your time. You can see that only took me around about 5-10 minutes max, but I've gained a lot. So most of the times what I saw is that all the putts that I missed was a misread. I had 2 misreads and 1 pace, 1 uphill. Again, we haven't been putting outside for a while, so my pace is going to be slightly out, but I can then give myself good feedback. What I would now do just before I go out is start to do some long putts, but I wouldn't just chuck a ball down and start to hit it. I would go through the full process. So I would come in here now, have a read, and go through my process and start to hit some pace putts just before I go out. So you see, well, the first thing I did was I was come out here, find a straight, and start to work on my stroke and my start line, and that's going to help us get a little bit of confidence out onto the golf course. I then go into some random putts, but you're constantly giving yourself feedback. If you're under reading them on the course, you might take a little bit more time to read. If your pace is a little bit out, you might just do some pace. We're going to go through some pace drills that you can do on the putting green and also put into your routine in the coming weeks. So as for now, when you get onto the course, set this up, and I want you to comment below, how many putts are you expecting to get? You know, be honest, what would you expect to get from this distance? We're going to go through a lot more numbers and stats to help you be a little bit more realistic and be a little bit more confident and positive when you're out on the golf course. Guys, thanks for watching. I have got the microphone working, I have borrowed James's. So as for now, I will see you back on Monday when we're going to be doing some short game.